Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being here first, Mary H. Oh, you guys, I'm so sorry. This is super, super late. I almost decided to just do it tomorrow, or later today. But I was like, nah, um, I'm here already. So here we are. Hey, Shelly L. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Did I see Hazel Jones? I did. Jesse Jose, Gwen Daniels, Miss Viv. Hi, Miss Viv. And Miss Z is here. Janice Goodrich, Nolu Bando, Nian Denny. Thank you so much for being here. All right. Talk about a face like thunder. Um, it's gonna be all right. We all God's children. We are all God's children. That's for sure. Um, is it Zatharine? Is it Zatharine Wiggins? Thank you so much for being here. Okay, let's get on with it then, shall we? Prince Harry in UK. Yes, he is. According to the schedule, his last visit was Invictus Games Team Manager Summit. The Team Manager Summit. So, and by the way, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. Well, that's the summit right there. Not a whole lot of picks, unfortunately. Um, oh, I better hang on to that one. I think I need that one. Oh, do I want that? I better save that one too. Matter of fact, let me open up another window so I can see what you all are seeing. Are we really happy here with these lonely games we play? Looking for words to say. Give me just a second. That's a. Let me see. Oh, hearts are weeping disappear every time I see your eyes. No matter how hard I try. George Benson, he just passed away, didn't he? That is what you call a crooner. Okay. I'm right. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. You're the 43rd like? Well, I hope there's some more. Hey, you guys, hit that like button. Please hit that like button. Hey, Maurice Brown. Yes, we've been speaking about that all of yesterday. We spoke about that, but thank you so much for that information. Um, yeah, that's quite disappointing to learn that. And they said he threw out all 97 counts. And remember, these are multiple people that are part of this suit, and he threw out all 97, which means that out of 97 counts, there's got to be some part of that where they are going to want to appeal it. So um, it's embarrassing. It is embarrassing because um, I know I sound like a broken record when I say this, but I have this very uh, big impression my whole life that there was a certain sensibility to the British common law, and the old Magna Carta and all that kind of stuff. You just expect more from the United Kingdom, right? Uh, and as an American, anytime there is someone who um, is like the genius in the movie, sometimes the evil genius, or just sometimes the genius, or someone of highbrow breeding and great manners, it's always that English accent, right? Especially that very posh accent. So we just hear the English accent and we expect better. We expect something of refinement and um, sensibility. But the laws over there, and the way that the judge just threw everything out, I'm like, God, that seems very political. So yeah, I'm disappointed. It's shocking to most Americans when we find out that all things British ain't so sophisticated. We have been raised to believe that only good things, only interesting things, only brilliance comes from across the pond. But the royal family's conduct with Princess Diana was the first clue that all things British ain't so impressive. And then, of course, the way that um, Harry and Meghan has been treated. Now, I have to say, I was so impressed with Tony Blair. I thought Tony Blair was like the best of what Britain has to offer. I seriously was very impressed with that man. As a matter of fact, I think that he charmed the whole of the United States Congress. Everybody loved Tony Blair. Tony Blair this, Tony Blair that. And it turns out Tony Blair was just as common and foolish and selfish as any other politician. So I am disappointed. Now, that being said, I do want to caution, I have enjoyed just about every moment that I have ever spent in the United Kingdom. I have been to Brighton. I started my trip to United Kingdom in London. I've been to Brighton. I've been to Bath, Cardiff. I've been to Manchester. And where else have I gone? Liverpool, Birmingham. And of course, I've been to Edinburgh, Glasgow, and probably a few other places that are not coming to mind right now. And of course, I've been to York. Oh, God, I loved York. I've been a lot of places in the United Kingdom. Now, of course, I'm going to these tourist hotspots. I don't really see that many people in their natural habitat, but I've seen enough. And I've even stayed with a friend in Brixton. I enjoyed myself in Brixton so much, I didn't even know it was a bad neighborhood until I left. I was reading, oh, that happened in Brixton? That happened in Brixton? But listen, you come to my neighborhood, it'd be the same thing. You'll think this is one of the nicest places you ever been. Then you open up the newspaper, turn on the news or something like that. You'd be like, God, Barron's living over there. So that's any place you go. But I'm just very surprised and very disappointed that the UK of my dreams, of my childhood, is not exactly what I thought it was. The royal family was the start of that disappointment when I realized that they were just a bunch of nasty, cruel people. Very, very cruel. The whole idea of that grandmotherly monarch and the patriarch of the family, and the matriarch, and Philip, the patriarch of the family. I just thought better of them. I thought more of the whole institution. Turns out it was not exactly what I thought it was. So I am very disappointed. I think when I saw To Sir with Love for the first time, that's when I was like, oh, I got to go to England. I want to go to England. I got to go to England someday. But I've met some really nice people, really, really nice people. And I would say that in terms of just meeting everyday people and all of the sites and the architecture and all that stuff, it exceeded my expectations. And then there were other things that were just totally disappointing. But that I didn't see until I got home, right? That is how awful the royal family is, how dreadful that institution is, and how so many people in the government are just savages, absolute savages. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. I think that if you get past all of that and you just spend some time with the people, with some very interesting people in the UK, all that other stuff can be, save it for the news. Okay. I hope that made sense. I'm just kind of babbling on right now. Oh, People Bryson. Okay. You know what, Maurice Brown? I'm confusing George Benson with People Bryson. People Bryson just passed away. That's who I'm confusing. Clive Davis couldn't sing his way out of a parking ticket. I would never confuse him with George Benson. Ah, yes, that's where the confusion is. It was People Bryson that just passed away, and I'm confusing him with George Benson because they're both like great, uh, incredibly talented singers, both of them, and they're kind of both in the same class, even though they're very different. I won't say that. I'm not saying there's so much alike, but I would say they have made similar impressions in the music industry. Both great singers. So yeah, thanks for straightening that out for me. Okay. Then there's this, which I can't see worth a lick. Let me see if I can make that bigger. Ah, there it is. I can make it bigger. And in spite of that, let me pull it closer. That print is not baby boomer friendly. It is not. Okay. As part of our 1 year to go celebration for the Invictus Games Birmingham 2027, it was fantastic to bring together our international community for this year's Team Managers Summit. The summit was an opportunity to connect, share experiences, and celebrate as we continue working together to support competitors on their Invictus Game journey. Thank you to everyone who joined us, including our founding patron, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, for helping make it such a valuable few days. And of course, there's Harry all the way. Well, he's not all the way completely in the back, but he's close enough to the back. But he's kind of just off center from the middle to your left. You see him? Just a little slightly off center on the left. Yeah, that's Prince Harry, the one with the sports jacket, dark sports jacket. Yeah. The guy all the way in the back is wearing a white shirt. That's not Prince Harry. The white button down shirt with a collar, that's not Harry. Harry is just to the left of him, but slightly in front of him. Yeah, that's Harry. You got it? All right, cool. All right, moving on. Now, these photos are actually from, I just saw this for the first time, and I'm assuming that these are new photos. Meeting Prince Harry was definitely a Warriors games highlight. He is all things kind, humble, hilarious, and genuinely invested in wounded warriors. He didn't just make an appearance, he spent the day with our athletes, sharing laughs, hearing our stories, celebrating our victories, and reminding us why adaptive sports matter. So, um, yeah, that was in Texas, right? I think that was in Texas. But yeah, one of the squatties just posted these earlier. And I'm like, how come I didn't see these before? That's interesting, right? I tend to see everything. It says here, meeting Prince Harry was definitely a Warrior Games highlight. Mandy, whatever her name is, Armed Forces military officer. So yeah, that was this year. Yeah, and that was in San Antonio. I believe those pictures are from San Antonio. Interesting. Don't know how I missed those. Okay, let's move on then. What the what? Okay, so that was posted 2 hours ago. All right, how weird. All right, I'm not gonna exhaust myself about this, but I'm just kind of curious. How did I miss those? Okay, let's move on then. Okay, so sorry, Charles, you missed the deadline. This old man simply enjoys toying with people, including his grandchildren. So, him. See there, he didn't got Lieutenant Zandy Sussex upset. Uh, hopeful King Charles opens talks with Harry and Meghan to meet with grandchildren in UK within days. Now that is Russell Myers, who I have not seen in ages, but yeah, Russell Myers is hoping that there will be some meeting between Charles and the grandchildren, and of course that would include Meghan. King has instructed aides to find a potential time in his diary this week to meet with Harry and Meghan, paving the way for an emotional reunion with his grandchildren. You know what that's about, don't you? I think that Charles is obviously hearing, well, someone is telling him about these voices of dissension across the country and the Commonwealth. There have been a lot of people speaking out, not only on social media, but also on um, some of the podcasts and platforms, and, Jeremy Vine and such, where people are speaking out saying that Charles is not a very good dad and that he should not treat his son in such a nasty manner, especially when you are still giving aid and comfort to his brother. You know what I'm saying? His brother is still receiving um, armed protection. He still has a house provided by Charles. He is still in line for the throne, and he also still has his titles, whatever they say. The man still has his titles. Now, whether Charles had him sign some document never to use it again publicly, I don't know. But Andrew has not given up his titles. He may have promised not to use it. They may have asked the press not to mention it. But he is and forever will be the Duke of York. I simply do not believe that that man is no longer the Duke of York, whatever they say. Now, there was one way that Charles could have ensured that he had access to his grandchildren, and that was try not evicting your son, your daughter in law, and the children. Try not to evict them from their home. That was one way to keep them close. He didn't have to evict them, he chose to evict them. He was being petty and extra just because he's married to one of the most vilified women who have ever drawn a breath. Camilla is only lucky. I tell you, she's only lucky that she has worked very hard to secure relationships with the press. I'm sure it probably cost a lot of money or cost a lot of other ways that Charles could secure those favors. But the press did not like Camilla. Now all of a sudden they're all her best of friends. It is something to be said about dining at the king's table or staying over at one of the royal residences. And that's exactly what happens with some of these reporters. They are almost like extended family to the royal, to the royals. Like Rebecca English, I shudder to think how close she has been to that family. And the same thing goes for, what's her name, Victoria Newton, or whoever the editor of The Sun is. These people are in bed with the Windsors, and everybody knows it. Arthur Edwards, and of course, the man who has pretty much eaten almost breakfast, lunch, and dinner for years at the king's table, Robert Jobson. All of these people are extended family. Charles was with a reporter when his mother was dying. Instead of being by her side, he was setting up for an interview. Everybody in the world could see that woman was near death. But Charles, time for an interview. Twisted family. Okay, let me see here. Now, King Charles' tank ride backfires as public calls him out over Prince Harry row. You see what I mean? People have been calling him out. And it has pretty much been nonstop for a while. So, according to Feminagra, on Monday, King Charles visited the Tank Museum in Bovington, Dorset, for the Royal Tank Regiment Family's Day. He arrived in a vintage 1920 Patton Rolls-Royce armored car, presented medals, and inspected the Challenger 3 main battle tank. Then he donned a crew guard helmet and took a ride in the Challenger 2. It was a classic royal photo op, the monarch connecting with the military, celebrating service, and projecting strength. The optics were carefully managed, the smiles were wide, the headlines wrote themselves. But the backdrop to this carefully staged event could not have been more uncomfortable. Just hours earlier, a war of words had broken out between Buckingham Palace and the Duke of Sussex over Harry's accommodations during his UK visit. The palace had offered him a room, then reportedly withdrawn it. Harry's spokesperson called it disappointing. The palace briefed that there was no room at the inn. INN. So while Charles was riding in a tank, Harry was arriving in London alone, without Meghan, without Archie, without Lilibet, because the family had been denied the security they needed to feel safe. Now, the article that went along with that ghastly image, the king swapped regal finery for a crew guard helmet as he took a ride in a battle tank today, with the royal family determined to shut out the noise surrounding Prince Harry's UK visit. Donning goggles, a white shirt, and striped tie, Charles, age 77, sat in the commander's seat as he was driven twice around the dirt track in a Challenger 2 in front of dozens of spectators at the Tank Museum in Bovington this afternoon. Just hours after the war of words broke out between Buckingham Palace and the Duke of Sussex over denying accommodations at the royal residence for his visit to the UK this week, the king arrived at the museum in Dorset on the back of a 1920s patent Rolls-Royce armored car. Charles' visit to Dorset comes as the Mail reported that the royal family intends to shut out the noise about the Duke of Sussex planned visit to the UK, which has seen more twists and turns. At the weekend, the spokesperson for Harry finally announced, after days of flip flopping, that he would no longer bring his wife, Meghan, and the children, Archie and Lilibet, with whom to with him to London today, as he felt the provisions being offered to him were not enough to secure their safety. Buckingham Palace has declined to comment, of course, believing that despite once again much perceived provocation by the Sussexes, discretion remains the better part of valor. So, and that's the thing, is all of this leaking, they leak and then they blame the Sussexes. They leak and then they blame the Sussexes. And it's just very interesting that Shauna person that I shared with you the other day, she pretty much called out the palace because it seems to be one of their tactics is to leak things, and then Charles will wait and evaluate what the public sentiment is, and then he would decide whether or not to instruct his courtiers to handle things in whichever way he deems necessary, which is a hell of a thing to do, because when you're leaking this information, it is further vilifying the Sussexes when they have nothing to do with the leaks. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure Charles is aware that when they leak these things, that the press, if you want to call them press, the press, the press machine, the rota, they are just going to accuse the Sussexes, which creates more anger and more apathy, that is, against a couple who already cannot get fair coverage in the United Kingdom. So his game of testing the conditions of his next move is actually hurtful to his son, to his daughter-in-law, and eventually one of these days is going to transfer over to his grandchildren, and he just does not seem to care. He not that he doesn't seem to care, he doesn't care. This is how Charles has been operating for 40 years. 40 years he's been doing this same thing. And I never thought I would ever have anything to share from that Shauna person, but one of the squatties shared it and it was interesting. So I shared it with you. Um, I was just surprised that she called it out. Unfortunately, almost in the same breath, she gave full blanketed coverage to Will and Kate. She just did not make them a part of that. And I believe that the leaking coming from Kensington Palace is just as bad, if not worse, than Buckingham Palace. I honestly could not tell you which is worse because they're both pretty bad. When Charles does it, he uses it to try to decide what to do next. When the Kensington crew, that is Will and Kate, when their people leak something, it is simply to inflict as much damage as possible. That is the difference. Charles is trying to figure out which direction, and William is just trying to hurt his brother. That's the way I see it. Either way, I think is a pretty crappy way to reign as monarch. So here's the problem with these images in a tank. They can backfire in the. Oh, you know what? Let me finish this Feminagra first. The backlash grows. The palace may have wanted to shut out the noise, but some British broadcasters are, for once, not letting him slide, which is interesting. They're not letting him slide. The Good Morning Britain presenter, Alfua Hagen, pushed back hard on the security argument, pointing out that Ravek has not conducted an updated risk assessment for Harry since 2019. And the guy says, "Are you saying Ravek is not doing their job?" And she said, "Yes, I'm saying that. You're saying that the Home Office is incompetent?" And she said, "I am saying that. Have you guys seen that video?" She said, they're happy to risk security of Prince Harry, she said. On Jeremy Vine, one of the callers, a panelist, were even more direct. One caller, Bill, branded Charles pathetic, adding, "It's unbelievable that a son who is in line for the throne, who fought for years in Afghanistan for this country, who loves this country, if he can't get protection when the likes of these politicians get round the clock protection, it's unbelievable." And of course, that includes 6 former prime ministers that receive around the clock protection. Or is it 7? I'm trying to remember. Was Tony Blair's picture there? Hold on a second, you guys. Let me check that out. How many former British prime ministers are there living today? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. There's 8. I only had 6 in the photo. So there are 8 former prime ministers that are receiving round the clock protection, something that Prince Harry is not allowed, even though he is the son of the monarch. John Majors, Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, David Cameron, Theresa May, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, and Rishi Sunak. That's 8 former prime ministers that are receiving around the clock protection from the British government. 8 former prime ministers. This marks the first time in modern British history that there have been 8 living ex-prime ministers. Well, shut the front door. They're going to run out of room to put those portraits up at some point. They're going to have to build an extension on number 10 just to put up those portraits. Now I'm really mad. Now I am pissed. I am really, really mad. How dare they? Another caller, Sarah, cut through the royal protocol. The king should treat his son like a son. Is Harry not the king's son? Treat him like a son. Vine's panel described the palace response as terrible PR and spiteful. One panelist pointed out the absurdity of the no room excuse. A man who's got all the funds in the world at his disposal and about 50 palaces, how can you not find a place for the son to stay? Another added, what do they have to do? Turn the sheet back and give it a little vacuum? That's it. Turn the sheets back, give it a little vacuum. It's 775 room palace. The consensus was clear. The optics are dreadful and the palace looks petty. The public is losing patience with a family they cannot even offer a room to its own son. Now, the tank ride says it all. What makes the whole thing so ugly is how there's a troll in the chat. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I forgot. Hold on a second, you guys. I know what I forgot to do. Give me just a second. I will handle that. I think I know what I forgot to do. You know what? I didn't put the troll spray on. I have a patented troll spray. And the troll spray is on. So that means that person has actually been a member for over a week. Huh. Yeah, the troll spray is on. That's interesting. Oh, well, please make sure you make a donation to Royal Sussex. And dare I say that this troll has great taste. You have excellent taste, sir or ma'am. You are listening to one of the finest Sussex-friendly channels that there is on YouTube. A channel filled with love and prayer and song. A channel that thinks that the royal family is just a bunch of backwards hillbillies. That is what you get from Royal Sussex. So, thank you. Thank you for the engagement. Now, where is the comment? Who is it? Oh, I like that. Your slander about our royals who cannot defend themselves. There's at least 2 of them that won't even work. And such language. If you're not part of the monarchy, you have neither the right nor or indeed the backstory to continue your slander about our royals who cannot defend themselves. It's Harry and Meghan who cannot defend themselves. Your so-called royals have a whole army of reporters, the Royal Rota, a whole bunch of ratty. As a matter of fact, I think I have a picture of your journalists. There they are, the royal rats. Anyway, those royal rats, also known as the royal rota, 24 hours a day, they do nothing but spew hatred about Harry and Meghan with absolutely no proof, no substance, and they are totally lacking in character, just like King Charles and that god awful creature he married, Camilla Barker Bowles. All of them are look, that's your future? That's your future? Huh? Is that your future? And this is your present, and that's your future. Good luck, because you're going to need it. Oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. Someplace I can focus my frustrations. uh, and have the nerves to, what is it? What an embarrassing way to spend your time. Shame on you for backing dreadful people. Well, shame on you for backing dreadful people. I mean, do you have to wait at the NHS? Because I got news for you. Kate didn't wait. Kate jumps the queue at your expense. Kate can jump the queue at your expense. Does it not bother you that you have a billionaire king and a billionaire Prince of Wales? They have done absolutely nothing to earn that money. Just two accidents of birth. And in William's case, he's not even the smart one. He's petty, childish, and reactive, just like his father. Except I'll give Charles this much credit. Charles is an intelligent person. He just does some very stupid things, but he's a very intelligent man. He's just not good with people. He never protects his family, and he has really bad taste in women. But anyway, I tell you what, stick around. You might learn something. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Elaine Parker. Anyway, we have a troll about the house. Oh my goodness. I am enjoying this. I got so much to say, I can't even think of what to say next. That's how much I want to say to this troll. I don't even know what to say next. And then, of course, I have some fun videos to share with the troll. Um, I love this because this way you can get a better idea of exactly who is being demoralized, who is being challenged for their ridiculous beliefs. Oh, this is so much fun. Let me see. Oh, I know which one. I know what I want to do. Hold on, troll. I got something for you. Please don't go anywhere. Please. Are you still there? Please tell me you're still there. Oh no, that's not what I'm looking for. Hold on, troll. Now see, how come I can't find stuff when I'm looking for it? Uh no, that's no good. All right. Troll, don't go anywhere. I'm still up to no good. I mean, I'm still looking for something. uh Oh, fudge. You see what? I'm so busy over here trying to demoralize you. I can't even find what I'm looking for. Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one. Charles.
Your family costing £500 million a year, Charles.
Ah, yes.
Ah, yes. Ah,
Why
yes.
don't you pay your gardeners minimum wage?
Huh? Oh, yes.
Why does your family cost us £500 million a year,
Oh,
Charles?
yes.
Ah, yes.
Your family costs us £500 million. Why don't you?
That's your answer? Ah, yes. Ah, yes. That's an answer? What does he think? He's in his bedroom with his companion? Ah, yes. Oh, yes. No, this is not that kind of a moment, sir. Oh, yes. Ooh, that's gross to think about, ain't it? Oh, yes. Camilla. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, Camilla. That's the ticket. I've arrived. Oh, yes. Hold on, troll. Don't go anywhere. Let me see what else I got. Oh, yes. Oh, let's see. What else is fun? Oh, well, these are always great. Not my king.
What do you know, Charles? Give us that up. Come on, Charles, answer the question. Don't run away, Charles. Charles, what do you know? When did he know it? When did he get us back up?
Who do they think they are?
What's that? What'd you say, Robert Jobson?
Who do they think they are?
Yes. Who do they think they are? Some troll in here. How dare you, sir or ma'am? Anyway, I've had enough of you. I'm going to send you on your way. Let me see. I think I'm going to block you, actually. Are you still here? Peasant, are you still here? Let me see. Did you guys already block the peasant? Oh, y'all know I have so much fun stuff, but I'm gonna move on. But you know, that's interesting that this person has had to be here for at least a week listening to me, probably listening to me every day. I don't know how they could take it. Do you know the sound of my own voice grates on my flipping nerves? I don't think I could do it. And yet this person is here every day, rain or shine, listening to me talk about Charles and Godzilla. Oh, you guys have already removed that person, right? Because now I can't find them. Anyway, enjoy the show. Stick around. Like I say, you might learn something. Oh, I was having fun. It's kind of hard for the trolls to get through because you have to have been a member for at least a week to comment. You know what I mean? Because the comments are, well, not member, but subscriber only. The comments are subscriber only. So that person had to have been a subscriber. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm going to have to block this person and get rid of them forever. All right. So long. Let me take a screenshot of that just for fun. You're going to be my troll Hall of Famer. Thank you for the engagement. Love you. That's weird. I thought it was at least one more comment. Oh, well. And bye, loser. Trench style man, huh? Uh that was fun. That was fun. I enjoyed like the little break from the usual. That's so weird though. I never get that when I'm live. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you, Hazel Jones. Anyway, they'll never come back. They're gonna have to get a burner account or something. All right. Yes, Magic Gal was banned and their comments were removed. So, we were talking about Feminegra, right? I think I was through with Feminegra. Well, if not, I'm gonna just. Oh, well, we got to talk about the tank. So the military optics make it even worse. Harry served for 10 years. Wait, is that where I left off? Yeah. So Harry served for 10 years. His military career helped shape the Invictus Games, one of the few royal adjacent projects with real global impact. So when Charles leans into military imagery, riding in a Challenger 2 tank, inspecting the Challenger 3, arriving in a vintage Rolls Royce armored car, while his son is being denied the safety needed to bring his family to the UK, it feels pointed. Maybe that is the intention. Maybe it is just awful timing. Either way, the optics are terrible. And this is where the royal fantasy falls apart. People talk about palaces, titles, and crowns as if they are inevitable. But who would envy this? Who would want parent? Who would want a parent who turns accommodation, security, and family access into a public power game? Harry is being pushed into an impossible corner. Choose the institution or choose the safety of Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet. And because he keeps choosing his family, the palace and the press keep trying to make him look like the problem. But the more they do it, the worse Charles looks. A king who cannot find a humane way to deal with his own son does not look strong. He looks petty, weak, and trapped by the same tabloid machine he keeps trying to appease. The tank ride was a photo op. The briefing war is a choice. And the message is clear. Charles is more interested in optics than reconciliation. That is not leadership. That is a father who has lost sight of what matters the most. Oh, you guys, Feminegra writes beautifully. You guys do know that, don't you? Feminegra, Feminegra writes beautifully. And as such, I'm going to recommend to you once again that you all make sure that you get over to Feminegra. There are other things besides the Sussexes. Feminegra also covered Elon Musk calls him a Chuck. Speaking of Tom Holland's response was a masterclass in dignity. Let's see. India Ari did not hate on young Miami. She asked for discernment. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting articles, not just about the Sussexes. So um, make sure you guys get over there and check out Feminagra's website. It is full of interesting articles. Okay, so about the tank embarrassment. Now, this is Prince Harry. Because there was a display of weapons, I decided to cover it up with love, as you can see. I'm not sure what would have happened with YouTube, so I covered up those weapons with the sign of love. But yeah, so that's Prince Harry as young Prince Harry. And then on the left side, that is Prince Harry while he was in the military. Prince Harry was always destined for military service. It's in his blood. Uh, I love to share that photo of Harry and his dim-witted brother, where the two of them were standing next to each other, and Harry seemed to be more preoccupied with the terrain, scanning the horizon for threats, whereas William just looked kind of lost. William just kind of looked kind of lost. They're definitely very different people. Different values. I would say that they have very different values. Let me see. I wanted to see if I could share that picture. I didn't even think to bring it up earlier while I was planning for today. But it doesn't look like it's handy, so I'm going to have to skip that one. I got so many pictures of the Sussexes. Let me see. No, I'm not seeing it. God, I love that picture. Sorry, you guys, I do not have it handy. But I'm sure if I showed it to you, you'd be like, oh, yes, I remember that picture. Of course you do. Oh, man. All right. So I'll share it with you. Oh, wait. No. Yeah, I'll share it with you later. Anyway, it's been built up too much. Oh, I found it. I found it. I found it. Okay, ready? Here we go. See there? See how Harry is standing there like a young soldier? You see that? Look at that soldier. And look at William. Clueless, lost, unaware. You see that? Different as night and day. Poor William doesn't know where he is. He is actually following his younger brother's lead. That's how different they are. Harry, the consummate soldier. Wait, now check this one out. See there? Scanning the horizon, looking for any threats to his family. That's our young soldier right there. Isn't he adorable? Isn't he adorable? And William's like, what are you looking at? I am scanning the horizon, searching for threats. That's what I'm looking at. And you should be doing the same thing yourself. See that serious look on his face? That's a soldier. And poor William got those legs going every which direction like James Brown again. Remember when he stepped out that car like James Brown? That's what he's doing. So, uh, so yeah, if you are a politician, or in this case, if you are the king, you must be very careful with those optics because you may only embarrass yourself. Like, look at Rishi Sunak with the gigantic helmet, and people instantly compared him to that image of what's his name in the movie Spaceballs. See that? See how he's got that gigantic helmet on? Now, the big difference is the one on the left is real life. The one on the right, that was for a movie. But see, what you guys don't know is Rishi Sunak is so tiny. He's like Sammy Davis Jr. small. He is a very petite, petite man. He's like a man, but smaller. And so, whoever gave him the idea. Oh, thank you. Scanning the perimeter. Thank you for that soldier talk there. Yes, he's scanning the perimeter. Now, look at that. That is just embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Who told the prime minister that it was a good idea to put that giant helmet on? Big mistake. Big mistake. It only makes him look foolish. Now, look at Michael Dukakis, former governor of Massachusetts, Michael Dukakis. Mike Dukakis got in that tank, put that big stupid helmet on, and that was the end of his presidential election. He was running for president and he embarrassed himself to no end by strapping that helmet to his head. He was trying to look tough on crime and it backfired. It's not a good idea. It's never a good idea. The only way that you should be in a tank is if you have earned the right. If you have earned the right. But if you are just a two-bit politician or some petty, ridiculous monarch, stay out of those tanks. And then, of course, there is the royal family's secret weapon, Kate Middleton, Commoner Kate, who showed up as patron of whatever, wearing Lululemon yoga pants. What do you think the Russian army would think if there was a war and some grinning, nonverbal princess ran toward them wearing Lululemon yoga pants? Not very threatening, is she? Not very threatening at all. As a matter of fact, I think the Russians might laugh themselves to death at the sight of that stammering, clueless princess running toward them in Lululemon yoga pants. And by the way, I am not speaking of Prince Edward. That's a different princess. I'm talking about Kate Middleton. I don't see that there's anything menacing about somebody's mama running toward me in a pair of Lululemon yoga pants. If anything, I am going to start warming up so that I can do my Pilates or yoga or whatever. I mean, they really got to get their priorities together, don't you think? You think so? Yeah, I hear that they are running out of conscripts. So, um, as a matter of fact, maybe that's just what they're looking for. You can get kind of lonely on the battlefield. You know what I mean? Get kind of lonely out there. But yes, Princess Lululemon in her threatening, menacing yoga pants, a one woman army if I've ever seen one. uh, why in the world was she allowed to do that? William was where was he at? In Kuala Lumpur or um he was somewhere in the east for his earth shot. So Kate, you know how Kate liked to play games, right? William is out of town, refused to take Kate with him because he didn't want her to embarrass him. So what does she do? She went to go and meet with whatever group she's patron of. And instead of wearing the camouflage like everybody else, she thought that this was going to be a real viral moment. I am going to wear my Lululemon yoga pants. And you know what? It was embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for her, but absolutely no, and I do mean no viral moment. The world collectively rolled their eyes. I thought that that was just tacky of her to wear something like that. I think it's disrespectful to the military. Also, I think it was kind of risque to wear something so form fitting around a bunch of men like that. I could think of so many other reasons why this was just very, very inappropriate. That is the future queen, still playing games, like the future queen that loved to wear those dresses that blew all over creation, right? Still playing games. She's over 40 years old and still playing those childish games. She should really be ashamed of herself. Anyway, I'm glad that ain't my mama prancing around wearing yoga pants. Y'all think the troll is still here? Anyway, I'm glad that ain't my mama prancing around wearing yoga pants, embarrassing me. I got to go to school and people be like, I saw your mama on TV wearing some yoga pants with the army. Did you? I saw that. I saw that. That was so you know what? And I'm just when I saw that, I'm just like,
They think they are.
yeah, when I saw that, I was wondering, you know,
Who do they think they are?
but then after a while, I thought about it. I said, do I want to talk about this today? Do I want this in my mental Rolodex? And then a voice came over me and said,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
right. But my first impression when I first saw that, I said to myself,
Well. Next question. See ya.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, I did see that and I thought it was so silly. And as for Kate, the future queen consort,
Hey, girl, sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
yes, go sit down somewhere. And next time, put on the entire uniform, okay?
They think they are.
I keep asking that question. Who do they think they are? Yes, they are not amused. Those soldiers are not amused. It was very disrespectful. I mean, look at that. Look at that outfit. Very, very disrespectful. Tacky. Tacky, tacky, tacky. Tacky is as tacky does. Kate has had 5 private secretaries in 6 years, yet none of them told her this was a bad idea. None of them told her this was a bad idea. Yeah, they told Prince Harry he couldn't wear his uniform. This British royal family is 100% lost. If they only knew what the rest of the world thinks of them. Exactly. Anyway, you all can have her. The secret weapon, Kate, Major Middleton, Britain's secret weapon, Major Middleton. Oh well, I won't be surprised if you're speaking Russian this time next year. Charles, wow, what a image of authority he commands as he holds on to the top of that hatch for dear life. Look at how he's holding on for dear life. And you know what I'm trying to figure out? How did they even get him in there? Because you know he's got those childbearing hips, right? I didn't know that anybody with hips that wide could fit into the top of those things. Oh well. Somehow they made it in there, didn't he? Yes, Major Middleton. Major middle bum. Major middle bum. Britain's secret weapon is major middle bum. Major middle bum. Britain's secret weapon is major middle bum. Now, of course, to be fair to Kate Middleton, I don't want to just say all of these provocative things and not give her a fair chance to respond. So we are going to reach out to Kensington Palace and give Kate Middleton a chance to respond to my criticism. Kate?
Face the daily challenge of finding the balance between profitability and having a positive impact.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Kate Middleton. Thanks for straightening that out. I'm not sure what you said, but thank you. Whew. Now, I have a soundbite for you. I am particularly prickly today, aren't I? Or should I say, ain't I? I am just being a cut up today. You know, if I keep going at this rate, people are going to be asking the question.
Who do they think they are?
So I better calm down and just, I'll try to be a little more boring. Now, I forgot I don't know who those people are. I recognize the one in fuchsia. That's Janice Streetwalker, right? But I don't know those other ones. Is the one in green, is her name Kay or is K-A-Y, right? K-A-Y-E, K? So you got Janice Streetwalker, whoever that is. I don't know them. What is a patine? A patine, when you chew tobacco and you spit that tobacco out, when it hits that little brass thing, it makes that sound patine, patine. Or if you spit a pumpkin seed, no, a watermelon seed. When you're eating watermelon and you spit the seed, if it hits something kind of light and metal, it makes that sound patine, patine. So I think that's what Kate was trying to say. That you'll know the difference, patine. Or do you think she was eating something with seeds? That's interesting. You guys, I am being so silly today. Let me stop. We got stuff to do here. Patine, patine. You'll learn the difference between profitability. Hey, wasn't that a song from Madonna? Profitability. I'm in trouble deep. Profitability. I'm in trouble deep. I made up my mind. I'm keeping my baby. Profitability. I'm in trouble deep. Profitability. I think that was a Madonna song. Okay, here we go. Profitability.
2 of his trip back here, he found out that he'd lost.
Oh, by the way, you guys, this was surprising. The person who shared this said, I didn't see that coming. So, thank you, Connie Balmer, for the super sticker. And as always, thank you for watching Royal Sussex.
Lost his court case against the Associated Newspapers Group, owners of the Daily Mail. Now, the legal action alleging phone hacking and illicit medical record access was brought alongside 6 other prominent figures, including Sir Elton John, Elizabeth Hurley, and Baroness Lawrence. It's been reported that Harry was visibly angry and upset, and he later called the result a whitewash. Not really been his week so far, Janet. You know, a lot of front pages. Obviously, it was like, is he coming? Isn't he coming? Is he staying in Buckingham Palace? Isn't he? But this is a big thing for him, and he must be devastated because this has been going on for a very long time.
Yeah, I do feel that the judgment was very, very unusual because there wasn't just what Prince Harry involved in this. As you said, there were a lot of people with a lot of claims against Association Newspapers. And so what I find extraordinary is that Mr. Justice Nicklin decided to sling out the whole lot. I mean, that's almost unprecedented.
It was 97, I think, wasn't it? 97
yeah, it's unprecedented.
It's
unprecedented. So all I would say is, you know, I think that we will see this continue, that if not with all the claims, I think the vast majority of them will go back into court and they'll go back into the Court of Appeal with a different judge or judges presiding. They'll go to a higher court and it won't be the end of it. And to the question, do I feel sorry for Prince Harry? Well, losing something like that so publicly is awful, but my advice would be just to move on and you know, work out what you are going to fight about in the future. Obviously, it's not easy. His wife and children are on holiday in Europe, and he's here alone, and he's got to do a lot of public engagements this week. But he is going to be the subject of a lot of press attention, whether he likes it or not.
Whether he likes it or not. But he has become the face of this, as we've said. There were other celebrities or people involved, you know,
Yeah, but he went into court and was there personally in court, drawing the press to it.
Yeah.
And I would say there's a lot of celebrities that would have been waiting for that verdict and also are kind of blindsided by it. I don't think it sits right with me as somebody that has been victim of a lot of intrusion throughout my career. And it's very hard to sit here and talk about that because as somebody that uses the media and works in media, you know, it's like a double-edged sword. You know, it's all very well and good when you're selling a book or promoting a film or a TV show, and the minute you're going through a divorce or a breakup or something personal, you don't want to be written about. And unfortunately, I think the public sympathy is just not there because it's like, well, you can't have your cake and eat it. But
there is an element of that, but there's a line that shouldn't be crossed.
I think so, and there are privacy laws, and I do think they are overstepped quite a lot by the media, and I do think they should be held accountable. And I wouldn't be surprised, like Janet says, if this isn't really kind of looked at now, and we all see it. You know, they all see themselves back in court because I can't see how they've come to that verdict. It just it's kind of blind. It's just blindsided people.
Must have had, you know, really high brow, top-end barristers, lawyers, to go in and win nothing, like 97 allegations, like nothing.
Yeah.
Was very surprising to me.
And I think it does take a lot for people to get to the steps of court and to go through with
very expensive action.
Yeah, and I think that you wouldn't do it unless you really felt like you were going to have some success.
Did you feel sorry for him, Brenda? Just
I've said on here before, I personally understand the trauma that he's going through, and even though, you know, I'm just going back to the child, the son, both him and Prince William, the trauma that they suffered, that they saw their mum going through on a daily basis, saw it, heard it, and, you know, I think that he's grown up into this young man. He's got his own family, and he wants to protect them as best as he can and protect himself. it is a bit, I saw it as, there's 7 other people, but they're literally just showing Prince Harry. Stop showing Prince Harry, and then nobody will.
But he's the star, isn't it?
But he's the one that gets
the star.
He's the one that gets the least sympathy. I think that's why he's
but that's
the headline.
Why but
what about all the other people?
So that's
their
feeding
cases
it.
Have got
that's
thrown
feeding
out,
the machine is feeding into. Oh, we're going to see it, so we're going to buy the paper.
I think there is an element of that, Janet, isn't it? Is that like, it's hard when people say, oh, yes, you're the victim. And you go, you've got lots of money, you've chosen this life, you've got this beautiful wife, 2 beautiful children. You came back to Britain
to fight your case in person.
Yeah.
Yes, but you're living in California. I feel that he's living in California, and when your view of Britain, when you spend a lot of time in California, is somewhat rosy, it's not a true picture of what life is like here. And I kind of agree with Kelly, having been a newspaper editor and a journalist and written about a lot and had people going through my dustbins and stuff like that. It's a bit hard. It's a hard line to walk, and also I kind of see the newspapers are a business, and the reason they're a business is that millions of people buy them and read them every day.
Exactly.
And that's the fact of the matter.
Exactly that. We all
feed into the machine. If you're buying a tabloid, you're clicking on that.
And the thing is now, if you're not buying an actual physical newspaper, it's online. So we're all feeding into it, aren't we?
We're all guilty
in a way.
of it. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure, like you said, it won't be the last we've heard of it. It'll be interesting to see
now. It'll be back in
appeal.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I also think, sorry to interrupt you,
Harry,
but very quickly, I do think that investigative journalists now will be looking into this verdict.
Into the judge or just the verdict?
They'll be looking into the background to how the verdict was achieved, and what the judge might have been thinking about when he made the verdict.
I mean, it was a 436-page written judgment.
Yes.
Big long one. Okay, well, I said, I'm sure we'll be talking about this again. We're going to take a break for now. After
that. Well, that was brilliant. It just goes to show that when they let slip the veil, except for Janet Streetwalker, I wish she would not let her veil down. But when you let slip the veil and you get a chance to hear what they are really thinking about the media, they themselves are part of that media, and they have also been victims. They have been perpetrators and victims. All of them, to some degree or another, they have been perpetrators and victims. Nobody is forcing them to read the dialogue that's in front of them. No one is making them participate in these chats. But by participating in this type of forum, this talk show, they have their platform, they have the panel, and they are having a conversation. Every so often, you'll hear some truth. But for the most part, I tell you, these things are very well orchestrated. There are talking points. There is point and counterpoint. You don't really get anywhere. This is the most that I have gotten out of Loose Women in a long time, because usually it's just a bunch of opinions flying back and forth with very little resolution, very little progress. You don't come out of it any closer to having solved the problems of the world on any given day compared to the next. Everything is just a matter of getting the corporate line out there. Also, they want to keep the public angered and triggered because that will keep them engaged. It's a terrible way to disseminate information to the masses, but that is how it's done. Is a lot of pretend conversations with very little resolution. So I don't recommend these formats. I try to avoid them whenever possible. Usually, if a squatty has shared it, then it's probably something of redeeming social value, and I will check it out like I did this one. And I was not expecting them to be so honest. All of them have been victimized by the British tabloid media. And as the one lady said, it's all well and good when you're the one talking about it. But then when you're going through a divorce, when you are having some health crisis or something like that, and then all of a sudden, here comes the intrusion, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. Going after someone's medical records to determine whether or not they have lost a child, whether or not they were ever pregnant, whether or not they deliberately gave up the child, whatever, I'm being careful with my language, but whatever the case may be, that should be private. There should even be laws against reporting on something like that. But the tabloids, they have literally taken conversations that they gathered from hacking phones, from intercepting messages, and then they will print those conversations in the next day's newspaper. They don't care that you and your sister or your mother or your child may never speak to one another again. I don't think that anybody could really put a dollar amount on what's owed, what should be paid, not only monetarily speaking, but also with people going to jail for violating privacies. The tabloid media has wrecked so many families. There are people who have accused their loved ones and their friends of betraying them, not realizing that it was the tabloids that orchestrated the entire thing. And Harry, they say, oh, Harry is bitter and paranoid. Oh my goodness, I was about to drop a F-bomb, but I'm not going to do it. Harry is bitter and paranoid because he has been robbed of his youth. They have literally stolen so much from him, including his mother. They took his mother from him. He was never going to have a father that could give him the unconditional love that he got from his mother. He doesn't have her anymore. The press took her. So how much does he have to lose? When is Harry allowed to be happy? When can Harry have a family and peace of mind? What is he being punished for? Besides an accident of birth, what is he being punished for? And even worse, his father is continuing to punish him, allowing the press to have at him and his family. It's not as though he can't do something about it. He won't do anything about it. His brother, who he should depend on more than anyone else in the world, his own brother has thrown him to the wolves to save himself, or just because he's playing evil, or both. Anyway, that was interesting. It was interesting to see how vulnerable they have been, and yet they are still doing the work. And don't get me wrong, some of them are more guilty than others, but collectively, they're all part of that same system. One day that they're talking about other people's business, and the next day, their business is on the street. Now, oh my God, the William and Kate superfan used to be Harry and Meghan's superfan. Well, that is John Laurie. I've mentioned him before. Interestingly enough, one of the squatties has taken notice of him. And by mistake, I actually said that he was the first person to give Meghan flowers. I realize now that that was not true. As a member of the royal family, or soon to be member of the royal family, as you can see, Meghan is holding flowers already. She was going along the line there. And as you can look between Meghan and those hands that are extended, right there in the background, there's John waiting patiently to greet the future princess. And if you take a look, there he is right there. Now, that was almost 10 years ago, so he looked much younger there. This was Harry and Meghan's first outing. I believe this was the first one. They went to a radio station. I think that was in Brixton, but they went to a radio station. Now, when the crowd heard that there was a member of the royal family, some people were like, ugh. And, because this was the hour when they were commuting home from work and school. But when they found out that it was Harry and Meghan, then all of a sudden the crowd began to swell and swell and swell. So even though it was kind of a rainy day, people kind of stayed out there waiting to meet the future princess. And there was so much love. Meghan proved that day that she was already a princess. Now, there's John holding a program. That program is from the wedding. I have one of those myself. If you had gone to the route taken on the wedding day when they rode around Windsor in the carriage, they were actually giving those out. They were giving that to people, and they were also giving bird feed, which I still have that as well. They give you little plastic packs of bird feed rather than throwing rice. They had something that could feed the birds. So that is the other souvenir that I kept from that day. And of course, it was that day when I met John Laurie. I saw him over by the statue of Queen Victoria, the one that's outside of Windsor Castle, not the Buckingham Palace, but the Windsor Castle. There's one right there by the gates, and that is where I recognized him immediately from television. So again, back to Brixton. There he is giving her a flower. Well, as you can see, she already has flowers. So there were other people who gave her flowers first. So I spoke in error. I thought he was the first official person to present the princess with flowers, but he was not. But anyway, he was there and he wanted to welcome her. Oh my God, I just noticed that Rebecca English is back there. Good God almighty, yuck. Do you see that big face back there? Oh God, Rebecca English is there. This just really spoils the moment for me. That big blockhead Loompa Loompa. There, you see her back there? Waiting to run and tell William and everything she saw. Oh my God, that's the worst person in the world to have around. Anyway, it was a great day though. Meghan looked absolutely beautiful. Harry was dressed by Meghan. Meghan had Harry up his fashion game. What a delicious looking couple. Oh my God, look at her back there. Monster. I didn't notice her until now. I did not notice her until just now. I'm like, oh my God, look at her. Monster. Anyway, so there's Meghan and John exchanging words. It was a great day, and the people waited outside for them to leave that evening. And there's John. Fast forward. If you notice, there are no buttons on that hat, right? If you look at it now, the hat is loaded with buttons. I wonder if he's ever washed that hat. Probably not. I wonder if he's ever taken it off. Probably not. Anyway, that was, of course, in late 2019, early 2020, when the Sussexes had left for America. Yeah. Now, check it out. There's William. William is only in this situation because Harry and possibly Meghan was coming to town. So that is why he and Kate Middleton have been falling over themselves, trying to look like they care about their work, which of course they do not. They are simply in it for the moment because they don't have a choice. They have to try to demonstrate to people that they are worth more than a Harry and Meghan any day of the week, when we both know that that is not true, that he is a lousy individual and his wife is even worse. They do not care about the work. They do not care about people. They are only concerned about themselves. They get absolutely nothing out of that work. William only wants to go to his sports events, and Kate likewise only wants to go to Wimbledon. And that is the only thing that impressed them. Other than that, if they didn't have to work, trust me, they would not work. Lazy. Two very lazy individuals. And see the kid there picking a booger? That kid is showing what he thinks of having William there. The kid decided, a booger for a booger. Now, there was some confusion. For some reason, this kid thought that Kate Middleton was the queen. See there? I didn't think that they looked so much alike, but now I have to wonder, maybe I just don't see it, but apparently someone has confused the two of them. You see there? Are you the queen? Kate's fairy godmother moment. Princess helps grant 10-year-old patient wish to appear on news round after he asked her, "Are you the queen?" during a hospital visit. Well, I guess in person, maybe Kate looks more like I guess in person, Kate looks more like Camilla. You think so? Maybe in person, Camilla and Kate probably look more alike than they are different. And this poor kid couldn't tell the difference. So he's like, "Are you the queen?" I mean, she's leaning all in his face and everything. I guess he thought, gee, she looks different from television. Maybe that's the queen. Now, if I was Kate Middleton and someone asked that question, I would be rather embarrassed. As a matter of fact, my feelings would be devastated at this point that anyone would confuse me, a 44-year-old woman, with that fossilized monarch's consort, Camilla. That is very, very awkward. I wonder if he did that on purpose just to get her away from him. Are you the queen? I mean, there's a side by side. Huh. Well, I don't know. They have their eyebrows are the same color. It looks like their lipstick is similar. Do you guys see it? Huh. Well, anyway, That kid thought that she was Camilla. I mean, I'm not making this up. It says so right there. Are you the queen? So he thought that Kate was Camilla. Ah, he thought that Kate was Camilla. Oh, sorry about that. Let's see. Baron, the UK media is crashing out because they've lost their close proximity to Meghan and Harry, just like Roy Anika getting embarrassed yesterday saying, I'm the press. I'm the press. Well, you know what? Access denied. Access denied. But I'm the press. Access denied. Not around here, you ain't. So, yes, you guys, that is the embarrassing thing that happened to Kate Middleton. Someone mistook her for Queen Camilla, the Queen Consort. Well, I guess if you've seen one consort, you've seen them all. I mean, they both have big hair. And they both are sinister. Huh. I would be embarrassed. You know, I'm surprised that Kate didn't call the tabloids and have them change the title. You know, if they would have changed the title to Are You a Queen instead of The Queen, then maybe it wouldn't seem so weird. But asking Kate, Are you the Queen, as in Camilla, I mean, surely this kid knows who the members of the royal family are, right? I mean, after all, he's 10 years old. And yet, he saw this person in his face leaning way too close in the most awkward of manners, and he mistook her for Camilla. Oh my God, how embarrassing. How embarrassing. Well, that's the way life is. I mean, sometimes I don't know, guys. It's just very awkward for Kate Middleton that someone mistook her as Camilla. Do you know what I mean? Oh, yes, I have. I am so sorry. With everything that's been going on lately, I haven't had a chance to respond, but I will read it again and I will respond to it in due time. I promise I'll do that. I'm going to make a note to myself. But yes, I did read it. But as you know, it's been kind of an awkward time for me. So I will look at it again and I'll get back to you. I do apologize for the delay. Matter of fact, I haven't even been on that account since I read that. But yeah, I'm going to try to do better with my emails. Okay. Let's see. Well, I guess I'm through with that. And I guess I'm almost done. Let me see how many things I got left here. Oh, yeah, I just have 2 more items left. So there's that. And then there's this. What a beautiful view. They say that this is from the Indiana Dunes. There is a natural landmark near Chicago. It's called the Indiana Dunes. there is like I wonder how high that is. But anyway, there is a mountain of sand that is washed up on the lake shore, and they have created this very desert-like situation. Very small, but it's almost like a desert over there, and it's called the Indiana Dunes. I do believe it is a state park, if not a national park, and it is one of those rare places where you can find, pardon me, sand along the lakeshore. There is sand that naturally occurs in the Great Lakes. Just so you know, there is sand that naturally occurs in the Great Lakes. And you can find sand in other places around the state of Illinois and such. So, um, sand is something that is always close to us. It's not like we have to ship it in, but this sand is just a natural phenomenon that appeared probably a million years ago. And someone at the dunes took a picture of Chicago's sunset. The sun is setting to the west of the city, and the dunes is obviously east of Chicago. And so they took that beautiful, breathtaking picture. But wait, it gets better. Check out that one. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that gorgeous? The Indiana Dunes. Oh, it is a national park. Yeah, it is a national park. And they have signage, you guys. If you go down that mountain of sand and you need emergency services to help you out, I believe you have to pay a fee. But it is a favorite spot along the lake shore. Okay, lastly, there's this. The ancestors was definitely on her side that day. Those guys that were invading Washington, D.C., um, unfortunately, this young African American woman was on a train and she found herself surrounded by what can only be reported to be white supremacists. And there she was alone. And so a photographer snapped a photo of her surrounded by what some people have referred to as a hate group. There was about 400 people, they say, that descended upon Washington, D.C. For the Independence Day. And, well, I would feel very insecure if I was in the middle of that group. But she seemed to handle it with a great deal of dignity. So probably the ancestors were protecting her, guiding her, looking out for her. Angela M., you're just waking up to go to work. Ooh, girl, we had quite a show today. There was a troll that was menacing us. There was confusion about Kate Middleton's identification. And of course, Charles decided to relive that Mike Dukakis moment. Yeah, so make sure you check it out. I had fun. Oh my goodness, have I been on here for almost 2 hours? Did somebody just roofie me? How did that happen? Anyway, I'm going to have to say cheers to you all. Thank you so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure, as per usual. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. And thank you to everyone for your generous contributions. Thank you, whoever purchased those steam pans that I got the other day. I almost thought I purchased that myself, but I looked again. I realized I'm like, no, that was a gift, but I didn't receive a gift card with it, so I don't know where it came from. But anyway, I really appreciate it, and I am going to be thinking about the mystery shopper whenever I eat my dim sum again. I'm kind of out of dim sum, so I'm going to have to, you know, gather all of my ingredients again so I can steam some dim sum. Looking forward to it. Let's see. 28 days until retirement. I'll catch the replay while at work. Nice. So 28 days. Congratulations. Congratulations. Now you can go backpacking across Europe. You can go on a safari in Africa. You can go to Asia and try some soup or ramen or something like that. You got so many things you can do now. Right? Now you got the time. I hope you got the money. And if you want to take a cruise, take a Carnival cruise, but make sure you bring some pepper spray, some knuckle dusters, and learn a little judo or jiu-jitsu or something like that before you take that Carnival cruise. Or you know what? You don't need that stuff. Just hire one of those Pinkerton guards. Yeah, hire a bodyguard if you're going to take a Carnival cruise. Wow, that is very nice. I am so happy for you. Do you? Do you? I want to be your registered companion. I want to be your registered companion. I don't have to put out, do I? I mean, I probably would anyway, but I want to be your registered companion. Wow. I want to see some more of this world we live in. That is so nice. So you are going to be here, there, and everywhere. You know what? That makes this the best possible way to retire that I can think of. Yeah, that is the best possible way to retire I can think of, is having worked at a airline and having those flight privileges that is for the rest of your life. I mean, it's just like having a lottery ticket in your pocket. Yep. Well, congratulations. You deserve it. Yeah. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, flight attendants, or even if you're a baggage handler, or if you work the gates or whatever, the gate agent, most airlines, I think, is 10 years. After 10 years, you have flight privileges for the rest of your life. So you can work there, retire at a young age, and fly. Just think, you got a taste for, let me think. Maybe you have a taste for a creme brulee, right? At a particular restaurant in Paris. You just go to the airport and get on the plane. You can be in Paris in like, 8, 9, 10 hours. You'll be traveling just like Alexis Carrington. Yep. And the poor person sitting next to you in first class, having spent all that money or using all those points just to get that seat. And then here comes someone who retired from the airline flying for free. All you got to do is pay the tax. All you got to do is pay the tax, which is nothing. a first class, like a $15,000 first class seat, and you're just flying for free. Now, in exchange for that, airlines sometimes pay you crap, but you get those flight privileges. Sometimes there's some people that are making good money at the airlines. There are some college graduates, they start at the airline right after school, and they're like, oh, forget being a dietitian. Oh, forget being an accountant. Who wants to be a lawyer? I'm fixing to fly. I'm fixing to fly. I don't know about y'all, but I'm on my way to Paris. Okay. But anyway, we're going to call it a night or a morning, whichever comes first. And I will see y'all later or tomorrow, whichever applies. And remember, not every royal person that you see is Camilla, but some of them have withered on the vine and they just look like Camilla. So, you know how the mirror on your car says objects may be closer than they appear? Well, when it comes to being a royal princess or queen consort, objects may be older than they appear or younger. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you next time.